Let me take this across to Pramod Madhav. He's joining us live from outside the Natarajar temple in Kadalur, the very iconic temple in Tamil Nadu. Pramod, good evening. What's the situation currently? Have things calmed down? Because there were protests that broke out subsequently after this video came to light.
Good evening, Akshita. In fact, we are inside the temple currently, and let me show you the ambience at this temple right now. This is called the temple of Thillai Nadarajar, and this temple is nearly 1,000 years old. This carries a history of the Choras, the Pandyas, and various kings. There are like different sabais here. One sabai called kanagasabai is the one that is causing the issue. There is Sabai. There are lingams that is made up of spardigam and ruby, and so many things are there. In fact, in Tamil it is called as Chidambaram Ragasyam, which means the secret that Chidambaram holds. Everything is inside this temple, and here we are showing you this complex currently with these thousands of pillars at this spot. And yes, there is a big issue, but the Dikshitars very clearly mentioned that they have the Supreme Court order in their hand, and for the day, devotees are allowed to climb atop the kanagasabai, which is one of the five sabais called as the golden platform. It's nothing but a kind of like a platform like this, where people will climb atop and they will pray to Lord Nataraja, who will be on that side. And this is where the issue came up. Here, what happened is that the Dikshitars on one end said that they decided to go ahead and do so because after 1,000 years of taking care of the temple, they knew what exactly would happen, and they cannot control the crowd. They said that a minimum of 50,000 people would visit on those particular 4 days, and that's the reason devotees were not allowed. But HR&CE officials have taken offense of it, and they claim that such decisions cannot be taken by them alone, and they have to discuss it with the HR&CE, and that's the reason the minister gave such a kind of interview. But he went a little far ahead and also said that HR&CE is going out doing all things to take control of the temple. But how will they do that is the question, because both the Dikshitars fall under a community called as denomination community, because they are only 1,300 in number, and it has been recognized by the Supreme Court as per the Dikshitars, and they have said that no matter what HR&CE will do, they will keep fighting their legal battle, Akshita.
And legally, the problem is, that the Supreme Court order is in favor of the Dikshitars, which is why there's a big showdown right now over this temple. Thanks, Pramod, for getting us that detailed ground report. Pramod reporting there from the spot where all of the controversy has broken out. Let me introduce our guests joining us on this broadcast. We've got Mr. A. Saravanan, DMK spokesperson. Mr. Narayanan Tirupati of the BJP will be joining us in just a bit. Mr. Saravanan, vanakkam.
Yes,
the Dikshitars have claimed that the officials who were there, the HR&CE officials, the cops, manhandled some of them. They're saying that the DMK government is attempting to take over the temple. Your response first to that?
See, the DMK government cannot remain a mute spectator when the Dikshitars take the law into their own hands. Yes, the Supreme Court has passed an order stating that the control of the temple may remain with the Dikshitars. They are free to follow their own religious practices. There is no doubt about that. But when the government is asking about the transparency in the way they manage the funds, the Dikshitars ought to give it to them, ought to give it to the government.
They cite the Supreme Court order. Saravanan, they cite the Supreme Court order repeatedly to say that we are not answerable to the government like several other temples that fall under the HR&CE department.
See, Supreme Court did not give them the right to marry off children. The Supreme Court did not give them the right to discriminate between different castes in the Hindu religion.
No, so
this is why we are saying, Mr. Modi, please stop talking about uniform civil code. Please talk about uniformity within the Hindu religion. DMK is a party which is fighting for the oppressed Hindus. And what these Pudu Dikshitars are doing, they say this is off the limits for some people. People belonging to certain castes. See,
one second.
Actually, just a moment. Just a moment. Let me complete this. This is a phenomenon seen across the country. We are seeing Madam Draupadi Murmu, the first citizen of this country, standing outside the temple, and we are seeing Dharmendra Pradhan and Ashwini Vaishnav getting into the touching the idols and giving their worships. This is how people are discriminated in this country in the name of religion. This is what we are opposing, and we will not allow anybody to flout the law. Article 26, yes, gives them a right. That does not mean that they can violate Article 14, Article 15 and Article 16.